Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hi. I'm going to be straight with you. I am coming to you fully obsessed with the moon, space travel, NASA, science. I'm all in, and I am in really good company. This week, NASA sent a space shuttle. Let's start here. I don't know the terminology. I know the moon, and I know space, and I know flight suit. Those are the ones I know. I don't know. Is it a space shuttle? Probably a space shuttle. NASA sent 4 people to go check out the moon. The other thing I'll admit to you before we have this conversation is this is not something that has been on my mind. My history with space travel is fairly limited. I am of the age that I was alive during the Challenger disaster. I was in the 3rd grade, and when I hear people talk about this, they rolled a TV on one of those AV carts into their classrooms to watch the Challenger take off, or they all went into like the auditorium and watched it together as a school. But my school did not do that. I don't know if we didn't have a TV. I don't know if we didn't care about it. I don't know if we didn't know about it. I'm honestly, I don't know. But we were not watching it. We were doing something else in class, and Miss Chestnut asked me to go down to the office to tell them something or pick something up. I don't know. And the lady that worked the front desk said, "Hey, the Challenger exploded." And I had about as much connection with what that meant, how big of a deal that was, how many people across the country were watching that. I had no clue that this was like a big deal. Now, exploding did not sound great to me. Kind of figured that wasn't ideal. So I went back up. Being the teacher's pet that I was happy to share this information. Immediately happy to know something no one else knows, and happy to tell the teacher. And I told Miss Chestnut, and she said, "Oh, those ladies down there, they're probably just goofing off. They're probably just making a joke." That's also how out of the realm of possibility she thought that was. And I was like, I don't know. She sounded kind of serious. And I got home, and the news, of course, confirmed that she was telling us the truth. But I didn't see that happen live. So I didn't have that visceral reaction to it and experience the surprise like so many people did. I watched Apollo 13 because, number one, back then, going to the movies was a thing. We went to the movies a lot. And I think during those times, I'm pretty sure it was a national law that if Tom Hanks was in something, you had to watch it. I'm not sure that we got the choice. You know, this was during Forrest Gump times. He was on quite a roll back then. And then as an adult, you know, have a little bit of a delicate relationship with the moon landing from 1969. Not quite sure I buy that. I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist, but it's a little fishy to me. Do I think the other Apollos happened? Yeah, I do. I think we've been up there, but we have not been back. I mean, in like 50 years, we did the first moon landing, and then we sent some Apollos, and I think that's it. So I honestly didn't know, like, do we need to go back? Is there more we want to do there? I didn't realize there was more we wanted to do there. I didn't know we wanted to see it. Part of me wondered, I hear people joke about living on the moon or sending a colony of people to go live on the moon, but I never know if is that real or is that just a bit that people say. I will say, moon wise, I'm a big believer in full moons affecting things and people and circumstances, simply because I'm a nurse and you can't not believe in that stuff. I mean, you just live it so many times, you can't not believe it. But scientifically, if we all agree that the moon affects the tides, its gravitational pull is so strong that it moves massive oceans. And we stop to think that we are at least 70% water. Our bodies are at least 70% water. What do you think that gravitational pull is doing to what's inside my cells? It's doing something. Something's going on there. So, like, I respect the moon quite a bit. But as far as what do I think is up there to see, I don't think I've really ever thought about it before. Honestly, it just seems barren. And I know there's moon dust everywhere. I've heard of craters. But when you say a crater, I mean, is it like this big or is it like the Grand Canyon? Are there 3 craters or are there 1,000,000 craters? Never have I ever thought about it. But this week, NASA sent a crew up to go look at the moon, to check out the moon, to assess the moon. The ship is called Artemis II, and there are 4 people on the ship. I'm going to call it a shuttle. I admitted at the beginning I don't know the vocabulary, but there's 4 people on the crew, and it's a very cool crew, right? Because there's a woman there, and their plan is to take off, head toward the moon, and go around the moon so that they can see the far side of the moon. Well, I had zero clue that this was a plan, that we wanted to go back, that we were planning it, that we had been working on it. I didn't know until they had already taken off. They took off, and I'm like, okay, NASA's back in action. For some reason, I didn't even know they were still doing stuff. Like, 50 years we have not been back to the moon. For whatever reason, we were real obsessed with it for like 3 years and then took a 50-year break. So I think it's pretty reasonable that I had no idea they were working on this. But they were. So the 4 people on the crew are, of course, astronauts. They're scientists. And they are a history-making crew. The pilot, his name is Victor. He's an African-American, and he's going the furthest any African-American has ever gone. There's a woman named Christina. She's going the furthest any woman has gone. There's a guy named Reed, and there's a guy named Jeremy. And what I think has caught my attention and so many people's attention about this crew is that they just seem very precious. They seem very cool. Victor and Reed are both girl dads. They have teenage daughters. Like, Victor's daughter is like on TikTok dancing like, "Hey, my dad's at the moon." Adorable. And during one of the conversations he had with I don't know this terminology either. The base back home, Houston, we have a problem. That one. Like the science group. Literally, I think one of the groups is called Science. It's like, oh, hey, talk to Science. But he was chatting with them, or one of them, and realized his wife was in the group, and he was like, "Oh, hey, babe." Like, how hey, babe. I don't know. It just saying hi from the moon, no big, while I'm also making this, history-making journey. Hey, babe. Reed has 2 teenage daughters. He was married to a nurse named Carroll. Now, obviously, I'm a nurse, so I love anybody that realizes, oh, yeah, I should marry a nurse. She passed away from cancer a couple of years ago, and he is raising his daughters as a single dad now. Classic girl dad, throwing heart hands to them, wearing friendship bracelets. And there's a woman, her name's Christina. She is like got this curly hair. And listen, I don't want to talk about how she looks and her physical. I don't want to talk about her physical appearance, but that the girl dream of having beautiful curls and them able to bounce because you are in no gravity is like, it's just it's the dream. And you don't have the weight of gravity pulling all the life out of those curls, and you can just, she's just up there just like beautiful. And one day she had a braid, and she's like, that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to pull your, hello. I just realized I have a braid in today. Guys, I'm trying to be like Christina. And I'm going to be also real honest. I don't know a lot about Jeremy, but I appreciate him. You know, get up there, live your dreams, go do your thing. Oh, another just little fun thing that social media has brought to my life is that Reed, the girl dad, many years ago, like almost 10 years ago, he opened up a fortune cookie, and it said, you're going to go on some cool journey that's going to give you a different perspective or something like that. And even then, he tweeted, wouldn't that be cool? Hopefully it'll be like to the moon or Mars. And so we're able to dig back in the old Twitter world and see that he's living that dream. He's living that fortune right now. And it's so cool to get to watch somebody do that. So it's fascinating to watch this. And of course, we're in a different world where, you know, back in the Apollo days, they would send some pictures back, and did they get them at the time? Maybe, or they would show them when they got back. I mean, we're live streaming all this stuff. We're watching it. I mean, I watched it live on Netflix while I was like working on a spreadsheet. Just watching them chit chat back and forth, watching them, hearing everything they're saying. Because why not? Let's just broadcast it to the whole world because we can. So cool. But it also has really brought forth some things that I did not know. Like, when you look up at the moon, it doesn't seem like that crazy far away. But the space shuttle flies twice as fast as an airplane, like an airliner. It's like 1,000 miles an hour, where an airplane goes about 500 miles an hour. And it took them, I don't know when they took off, but they were at the moon on Monday, and they're not going to be back till Friday. It takes you 4 days. So I'm sure it took 4 days to get there too. 4 days? And if they had been flying the speed of a plane, it would have taken 8 days? That sounds crazy to me. I had no idea the moon was that far away. This is what I mean when I'm saying I have never once thought about any of this stuff. And now suddenly I'm all about the moon and thinking all about how deep are these craters? How many craters are there? How many have we known about? How many can we see with our telescope? How many more are we finding when we get up there, getting up close? But everything's changed. And I know this won't last, but what a fun time it is to be obsessed with space for just a minute. But the truth of it is, it's the other stuff about it. It's the non-science, non-space specific human portion of this that is giving my beat up, tired spirit and soul the lift that it has needed for many years, to be honest with you. I feel like we're just in such a space where we're all getting beat up. That our hearts are the sensitive parts of us are kind of getting beat up. And I never would have guessed that this would be the thing that lifted that. We're seeing tons of women on these teams. When you listen to the communications, you know what? This one I do know. When you listen to the comms, that's what we call the communications. We don't have time to say communications. We're busy doing science. When you listen to the comms, you hear so many women. And you look at a picture of a group that planned for this and has been making this possible for years and making it happen right now. And there are women everywhere. And to see what I can only assume is the result of all these years of people saying, we need more women in STEM. We need more women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. We need more women in these spaces. And here they are. They're in it. They're not just in the shuttle. They're making it happen on the ground. They're doing the science. They're managing the plant. They're doing all the things that make it happen. And it's so encouraging to see. Getting the opportunity to watch that, if you haven't, yes, there are many hours of content to watch. And if you're not that into it, I fully understand that. But I would encourage you to listen to even a half hour of them talking back and forth. There is something so cool about hearing professional people who are likely some of the smartest people that live in the United States speaking with each other calmly, respectfully, with curiosity, very willing to say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, or that thing that you just said, I don't know what that is. Can you spell that for me? Then spelling it and saying, sorry, what's that first letter? I can't tell what letter you're saying. There's no ego among all this, despite how world-changing this is and how fascinating this work is and how so unique they are for being part of this. There's no ego there. They're like, oh, you just said something about, you named a part of the moon that I don't know what that is. What? What is it? Where is it? Or somebody describing something and then somebody saying, I'm sorry, I don't see what you're seeing. And that person say, okay, thinking, okay, I'll describe it in a different way, and changing the way they describe it. And then them saying, okay, thank you for that description. That's really helpful. Now I see what you're seeing. Ego is to the side because they're not there for their own ego. I mean, I hope they're proud of themselves, but they are there for a group mission. That group that has worked so hard to make this happen. And honestly, they're not just doing it for them either. They're doing it for us. I have no access to the moon outside of, okay, it's a full moon. Get ready for the crazy. But we don't have, they're doing that for us. And not just the United States, for all of humanity. When one of the commentators or somebody on the team, I honestly don't even know, was just reminding us that the entire world shares the same moon. On the other side of the world, they're looking up at the same moon that we are. And that is something that connects us and bonds us together. How cool that we're up there learning a little bit more about it. And guess what? They're going to share it with the entire world. I'm obsessed with that. And I believe it was Victor, the pilot, who, you know, I can only imagine, but people say when you get that view of Earth from the other side, something that very, very few people in the world have ever seen, that it's incredibly humbling and absolutely leaves you in awe. But he looked back on that and said, I don't want to butcher this, but his general message was, this is a beautiful place and it's for all of us, and you're special there for you to be there and for us to have this place amongst the vastness of the universe. We have this beautiful oasis where we get to live and be together and work together, and you're important. The earth is important. Humanity is important. So we get this beautiful reminder of how really cool and unique it is to be a human and to live on the earth and to be one of all of humankind. So we're getting these like beautiful messages back and forth, these beautiful kind of, sometimes it feels like a poem or a sermon or something that they're saying, and they were up there on Easter. So there's a lot of beautiful words spoken about, the spiritual side of us and who we are as humanity. And it was so encouraging, plus at the same time, we're always getting to hear like, oh, what song did they wake up to this morning? Was it Chapel Roan, Pink Pony Club? Okay, cool. Or was it some moon themed, space themed song or whatever? Like, what are we doing? Oh, and they're just up there eating Nutella because the Nutella's flying by, and like thinking, okay, that was probably wise to bring a treat on the on the space shuttle. And their email wasn't working, so they had to call tech support. Like, okay, you can get off this entire planet, you're still going to need tech support. Thank you. You're just like me. You still need help with your email. And their toilet, something happened to their toilet. I don't know those details, but can you imagine? You think the toilet in your house is important. How about the one that's literally out of this world? And you got the one for the four of you, and y'all need it bad. Y'all need it real bad. I believe they got it fixed, but even Christina was saying, she was like trained to fix the toilet if it went wrong. And she was like, I'm super proud to do this. Not embarrassed one bit to be fixing this toilet. I'm very proud to have this knowledge, have this ability, have the opportunity to fix this toilet. Thrilled. And then they get to the moon and they're seeing these things that have already been identified. They're seeing them and recognizing them, getting a better view than they've had, right? That we haven't had this good of a view before, but we're seeing it now. And they're noticing new things and they're naming things, and they name this thing and they name that thing. And then Jeremy says, guys, we see something. We see a bright spot on the side of the moon that faces the earth. And we recently lost somebody that we love. And so in her honor, we would like to name this bright spot Carroll. And he quickly spelled it Carroll to make sure it was spelled correctly. And it would honor Carroll, Reed's wife, that died of cancer a couple of years ago, his daughter's mom. And of course, it was a sweet but really heavy moment amongst the team. His voice cracked. They all were wiping away tears. They hugged. And I thought what was so cool about that wasn't Reed saying, we lost somebody, my family lost somebody, I lost somebody. That was somebody from the crew saying, we lost somebody. This team lost somebody. NASA lost somebody. The wider space community lost somebody. The nursing community lost somebody. The medical community lost somebody. The United States lost somebody. Humanity lost somebody. Because we can all connect with that, right? We may not have known Carroll, but we've all lost somebody. And for them to use that opportunity to find a bright spot on the moon, and not one hidden in the back, one that her daughters can see, one that Reed will be able to see when he comes back, one that we can see. I don't know that I'll be able to identify it, but I'll know there's a bright spot up there that we can see that lets us know we remember those people we lost. And we take them with us wherever we go, even if it's literally away from the earth and all the way to the moon. You know, people love to say, I love you to the moon and back, but he's living that. Taking her with him all the way to the other side of the moon and on his way back. And every time any of us now look up at the moon, we can remember them. We can remember our people that we have lost that were bright spots for us. And we can look to that bright spot and remember that losing someone, we all lose someone. We can remember that those we lose, we all lose, but they stay with us as long as we keep them with us. And the way I bawled listening to him ask for that was something way, way bigger than caring about space or how many craters are on the moon. For them to separate themselves, but that being an opportunity to connect with us and to connect those of us left behind so much more in a time when we need it so desperately. I'm just so grateful. I'm so very grateful that we decided after 50 long years to go back to the moon. And I'll just leave you with this. I don't know who to give credit to, so I'm not going to identify it. It might be Jeremy. He said that one of his mentors is a Native American and told him that they refer to the moon just like we refer to nature as Mother Nature, because she gives us life and keeps life going and literally does nurture us throughout our lives. But they refer to the moon as Grandmother Moon. So the moon takes care of Mother Nature and Mother Nature takes care of us. And I'll never, ever, ever again look at the moon in the same way. And how cool that we can look back and say, here's a mark in time. Your life might not be any different. Our world might not be any different. Your spirit and soul getting beat up every day might not be any different, but for this one moment and now for the rest of your life, there's a little something that is different, and that's better. And I'm so grateful for that.
Thanks for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. I'm James, the producer, editor, director, and executive producer. Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Honestly, forget TikTok. I don't even know how to use it anyway.
You don't know how to use it anyway.
James.
Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram and Facebook. See you next week.